Hey, yo, everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review. Today we're going to be doing my Andrewcutter comic pull list for the week, as well as news, updates, questions, answers, and everything and anything that falls in between. Now, we have a lot of comics to go through this week, so we're just not going to waste any time with all that jibber jabber that I usually throw at you. We're going to just jump right into it, and we're going to start where we always start, with a little bit of Batman in our life, with Batman Eternal, issue number 3. Continuing the weekly series that is celebrating the 75th anniversary of Batman, this issue is more or less the introduction to Stephanie Brown into the New 52. Now, although Stephanie was teased in issue number 28 of Batman, I believe it was, this is actually going to be her real debut into the New 52. And while this is going on, she finds out a dark secret about her father and exactly what he possibly could have involved in the big grand scheme of Batman Eternal. While this is going on, Batman's trying to find out exactly what's going on with Commissioner Gordon. Was he framed? Was there some illusion going on? Or did Gordon actually make a mistake and take the shot? And how does Falcone fit in all of this? Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good. I think Stephanie Brown was introduced very well in this issue. Enough time was given to her, but not too much that we felt over flustered, for lack of a better term. I really do like the shape up with Falcone and how he's playing into Batman Eternal, and also I like the gang war that's going on. And what's very important about this series that I really do like is that it's starting to get the engines revving and going very early on. We're not wasting time at all. We're getting things going. Plain, flat, simple. So I do like that. Bad, nothing really. With the great art that we have here with Jason Fabach and the, the the great introduction to Stephanie Brown and the story continuing the way it is, Batman Eternal issue number 3 is a 5 out of 5. Pick it up. Batman Superman First Contact issue number 3, but this is really issue number 9. Part 3 to First Contact. So this is continuing the story of Power Girl and Huntress meeting Superman and Batman for the first time. And while this is going on, we get kind of a conclusion to this. We get to see where the world's finest team is going to go, Power Girl and Huntress. And while at the same time, we get to see Superman and Batman start to remember their encounters with the Earth 2 version of Superman and Batman and get to see how they kind of view each other. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good. Jane Lee jumps on for the art, and the art is tremendous as always. The detail and the level of detail is very good in this. I do like the comparison of Earth 2 Batman and Superman to Earth 0 Batman and Superman, because technically the New 52 Earth is Earth 0. There's Earth 0, which is New 52, Earth 1, which is graphic novels, Earth 2, which is the Golden Age Heroes Reborn, and Earth 3, Crime Syndicate, Earth 4, the Fourth World, and whatever Earth President Superman's from. Those are the only Earths that are revealed. But anyways, I guess it's called Earth 0, and basically, it's nice to see a comparison between the two of them. I like how Batman views Earth 2 Superman as arrogant and dangerous and cocky, but at the same time, the disadvantage is I really don't like how Superman and Batman are portrayed as very aggressive in this. And what I mean by very aggressive, I don't know. It just feels as though Superman seems more of a brute individual than actual Superman. Granted, he's being manipulated by the nanites and the kryptonite a lot in this comic. It's still a common theme that's going on in this whole entire series. And that's the funny thing about this. Greg Pak does a great job at portraying Superman in an action comic. Actually, does one of the better jobs of portraying Superman in an action comic. Finding that balance between the New 52, the pre-New 52 for Superman, but at the same time, I'm not feeling it in this comic. Plus, also, I just lost interest in the first contact story that's going on. I don't know what it is. Maybe I thought the story ended a while ago. Maybe it's because it's just been dragging on too long. Maybe it just hasn't been that interesting. I thought the story would have gone on a little, would have, I don't know, delivered a little bit more to it. Not saying it was bad, it just wasn't overwhelmingly interesting. Saying that, I'm going to give this 3 out of 5. Moving on to Catwoman issue number 30. So, the race of thieves begin. The basic concept of this is, for some reason, Catwoman doesn't want to be Catwoman anymore. That's going to last about a panel. And Roulette shows up. Roulette, who actually, I believe, made her first appearance in the Justice League animated series, but then was used in the DC Comics from time to time. Could be wrong about that. Please don't quote me. But anyways, Roulette shows up and says, "Hey, I'm having a game for all you thieves out there. Could you possibly complete these tasks and the winner gets some fantastic thing?" And one of the clues to this is children's teeth. So that is Catwoman's incentive to join this, because not only is it calling her out and saying, "Hey, if you're really the world's greatest thief, come out here and prove it," it's also she has a soft spot for children because she was an orphan, she lived on the streets, all that kind of not so fun stuff that kids go through, and she has a soft spot for kids, so that brings her into it. But you see a lot of the thieves in the DC universe, in particular, Mirror Master and Glyda show up, but Vault also makes an appearance too. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good. I'm going to just do this all together. This is the thing about Innocenti that just really baffles me. The story itself is a good concept. The race of thieves and the overall line theme of it is a good concept, and the characters that are used are a good idea. However, the dialogue just kills it, and the execution just kills it. And I'm not saying it in a good way, in a bad way. Um, the story was just so boring, and there was a lot of random unnecessary panels. Like, for example, there's one point where Catwoman doesn't want to be Catwoman anymore, but then she gets this thing going on. She gets challenged out by uh, Roulette, and then she gets the teeth of the children. She gets all pissed, so then she goes out, and the next scene we see of her is in a filing cabinet looking stuff up while a little kid walks in who apparently was in the Joker Catwoman crossover in Death of the Family, and she sees one of his teeth is missing, and then it cuts to the next panel. Why was she there? What was she looking up? Why did we have that scene? Why is it to make this a little bit closer to the heart of Catwoman? I don't even care about this kid. Like, seriously, he showed up in one issue with the Joker. So yeah, 2 out of 5. Oh god, the execution was bad. Moving on to Warlords of Mars, issue number 35. So, this is concluding the story arc that we've been having consistently with Warlord of Mars for the past 4 or 5 issues, where Deja Thoris thought her grandfather was returning back to life, but actually it was an ancient red Martian from the past. Is John Connor versus the ancient red Martian from the past. I'm stumbling over my words. I completely forget his name. I should, because he was actually a really good villain. Oh, it's Zernus. So it's John Connor versus Zernus, and basically to reclaim all of Barsoom. Can John Connor do it, or will, unfortunately, he not be strong enough? Good. Oh, come on, it's John Carter. Of course he's gonna do it. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good. The art was. I like the art. It was very dynamic. Granted, John Carter was a little too hulking and muscular. That's okay for what Warlords of Mars is. John Carter is pretty much naked throughout of all of it. So, I mean, I guess looking muscular fits the tone of the comic. Same thing for Deja Thoris. She's half naked throughout of it, all of it, anyways. Which is funny because I got into a little discussion about that with my wife. I tried to explain. She's like, "I really don't like your Warlord of Mars Deja Thoris comics," and I'm like, "Why?" Because she's half nude in them, and I'm like, "Yeah, but everyone's nude in Warlords of Mars. John Carter's basically wearing a man thong the whole entire time. It's just how the books are." But anyways, the art was pretty good. I do like the conclusion of the story, and I do love the overall ending. I thought this was a story arc that was not only fun, but came full circle in a great way. Bad, the only bad I could say is the showdown between Zernus and John Carter was a little dramatic, not dramatic, anticlimactic, but it did have a level of drama to it that was Actually pretty cool. So on a whole, 4.5 out of 5. Pick it up. Moving on to Teen Titans issue number 30, the last issue of Teen Titans, although the annual is going to wrap up the story. Basically, the Titans come back to our time and they go up against some very bad people that were in the colony. And Skitter shows up. Yeah, that's about it. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good. I do like how the team's coming together. I do enjoy that Raven's now free of Trigon's hold, so she's actually really good. And Bunker being back was great. I kind of missed him, and Beast Boy for the past few issues. Bad is I don't know who they're fighting, really what's going on, or why I should care. If that makes sense, because I don't care. Plain, flat, and simple. And then they show like two backups. One is two backups. One is for Solstice and Bart Allen in the future, which again I don't care about because yeah. And then the other backup is where Beast Boy and Bunker were, which was good, but again, time we could have spent on making the primary story better. That's the difficulty of backups, is that if you do a backup, you're taking away from the primary story. You have to be a really good writer to be able to handle both of them. Jeff Johns did a very good job at it with Shazam and Justice League, but still, really, come on. Um, the art was good though. I did enjoy the art. 2.5 out of 5. It was entertaining, but all on a whole, why should I care? That's the major thing. I'm interested to see the overall new Teen Titans comic that's coming out. I am pumped for that. Justice League Dark issue number 30. So Zatanna is in charge of the House of Mystery now. Uh, and John Constantine. Wow, wouldn't that be cool? John Carter dumped into the DC universe. Constantine is kind of going around all willy nilly and sad because he got kicked out, and he's doing what he does best: get drunk. And the Justice League Dark team is kind of coming apart. Some members are leaving, some members are staying. At the end of it, this is basically the new Justice League Dark team, for the most part. Two of the members there that you see, which my fingers are covering right now, Constantine and Swamp Thing, aren't guarantees. But we do know that Zatanna, Nightmare Nurse, and Deadman do decide to stay. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good. Pacing was very well done. This is a good table reset for the Justice League Dark. And the great thing about the Justice League Dark is I don't mind that the team mixes up and changes a lot, because there's a lot of characters in the DC universe, or at least the magical aspect of the DC universe, that should jump on the team from time to time. Unlike the Justice League team, which I really would have rather had it be the core 7 at all times, I do like that they're mixing up the team members here. Yeah, it's kind of weird. The art was great. The dialogue was great, particularly John Constantine and Zatanna's conversation that they have with each other, and the mystery of Nightmare Nurse is getting better and better. This is a character that I thought was going to be temporary, and now I want her to stay on the team permanently. Bad, none, 5 out of 5, and a good jumping on point for the Justice League Dark. If you have not tried this comic yet, issue 30 is a great place to start, especially with the Forever Evil Blight story being done. It's a great reset. All you need to know is that John Constantine was an asshole to Zatanna, which is nothing new, so hey, you're not missing much. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, issue number 2. So in this, Buffy and the gang, the Scoobies, are fighting for their life, while also resituating to Giles being around as a kid. And they're trying to figure out exactly what's going on in the world. And what they realize is that the magic of the world has not really re-equated itself back to being in the world. The seed, the original seed of magic, had millennia to develop and write the rules of magic. The new seed was kind of forced in maturity, so the rules of magic are still being written. So all the new vampires, all the new monsters, all that stuff, magic is different for them, and kind of an interesting concept. And while this is also going on, Xander is continuously talking to his dead ex-fiance, and they have to go meet up with Dracula, which Xander and Dracula together is always a good thing. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good. I like the art on this. This is the same art we had from Angel and Faith in the previous season of Angel and Faith. I like the concept of magic and the seed not fully being completed, so magic's being rewritten. Giles being part of the team again is pretty darn awesome, and the overall pacing of this was good. Bad? Actually, none. Buffy season 11, are we on? Season 10. Issue number 2 was a great story, continuing the team of Christos Gage and Rebecca Isaacs, who was on the Faith and Angel comic, or the Angel and Faith comic, bringing their talents over here and showing why that team is such a great team for the Buffyverse. So 5 out of 5. Get issue number 1 and then read issue number 2. Talking about with Justice League Dark resetting the table, we got TMNT issue number 30, also resetting the table. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So Northampton storyline is over. Leonardo's pretty much back with the team, and basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to make themselves more skilled. They're practicing. They're retraining themselves because right now they're not ready for the Shredder. They need to get ready because some shit is about to get real with the Shredder. While this is going on, Shredder is getting the Hun to truly be a loyal servant to the Foot. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good. I really love to see the Turtles kind of resituate themselves and the family back together. I still think that there's a little tension is still there, but yeah, it's good to see them all back together. In addition to that, the Hun as a character, which is the only micro series villain that I did not get. I know that's bad. I need to get it. Um, I'm starting to like more and more as a character, and especially with his relationship with Casey Jones and being his father, and also with the Shredder. Really well done. Bad, not much action here other than Bebop and Rocksteady just fucking destroying shit. But other than that, a little slow paced. That's the only thing, a little slow paced. So that's why I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. TMNT is still one of the best series out there for comic books. So moving on to G.I. Joe issue number 201. The big issue 201. Yeah, this was a big one. This is the Joes kind of also resetting tables, resituating themselves after the big battle with Cobra. On a whole, though, and the cool thing about this that I liked is a lot of the storylines are kind of converging on each other, which is nice. But I think the one problem I have with the G.I. Joe comic right now, and I still like it, but I'm going to give this a little bit of a low score, so I'm sorry, Larry. You're going to be mad at me. The thing is I feel as though the cast is just too big. Um, and excuse me, my contacts are itching up. What I like about Joe is it's a great comic and it's well done and I like this great plethora of characters we can go from. But I think when you have a cast this big and you're trying to give everyone their time in the sunshine, it takes away from the comic and it takes away from the story. So that's why I'm gonna give this 2.5 out of 5. The parts that were good were definitely good, but it was just too clustered with too many characters. That's something that has been going on with Joe for the past, I want to say, 10 issues that they have to get under wraps. Moving on to Red Lanterns, issue number 30. So everyone is on Atrocitus shit list. Guy Gardner, Bleeze, Supergirl, everybody is on his shit list, and he's back and he's causing trouble. And Guy Gardner's actually legitimately worried because shit, Atrocitus. I was barely able to take him out beforehand, and now he's back with more Red Lanterns. Shit's about to get real. So there's a lot of tension in the air. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good. I really do like the tension in the air with the return of Atrocitus. I think he definitely brings a special feeling to the Red Lantern book. It really is his book, but I do like Guy Gardner as a Red Lantern too. So it's interesting to see him back, and everyone's scared of him. That just shows how much of a dominant force he is in the DCU. I thought the dialogue was very well handled, especially between Belize and Supergirl. and it ended off on a good note. Bad, I can't really say anything bad other than the fact that it didn't wow me too much. A lot of talking, a little bit more action would have been good, but this was a very strong issue. I know Guy Gardner, spoiler alert, ready? I'm giving you an alert. It's going to be 2 seconds. We do know that he becomes a Blue Lantern in the solicits for coming out comics, but yeah, I really wish he would stay red. The art is good in this too, so yeah, that will be a 4.5 out of 5. So, moving on to LaFreeze issue number 10, and our good old friend, the greatest Green Lantern of them all, Gnort, shows up. Who hasn't really shown up at all in the new 52. This is kind of his new 52 debut, or at least I think it was previous issue. If you don't know who he is, read Justice League International, the original 80s comic. You'll know. So LaFreeze is just doing what LaFreeze always wants to do. Get his stuff back and kill those interdimensional divine beings. And while this is going on, Connor is actually holding his own against them, which is pretty cool. It just shows you how effective he could actually be as Green Lantern. If it wasn't for LaFreeze showing up, I mean, he would actually handle himself pretty well. Um, this issue is actually going to get a 5 out of 5. It was well handled. The pacing was good. Right amount of dialogue. With Keith Giffens, he loves to write dialogue, so it's nice to have that right amount of dialogue. Godot was fun to see in there, and again, the story is just fun. Moving on to Superman issue number 30. So, Superman issue number 30 is a prelude to Doom, and it also has the Eradicator in this, so we're bringing a lot of the previous um, elements from Superman Doomsday and while this is going on, it's also setting up the whole Brainiac Lois Lane stuff. If you remember, Lois Lane was one of those people that were mentally attacked by Brainiac, and we know by the solicits that she is going to fight against Wonder Woman as a Brainiac basically puppet. While this is going on, a whole section of Metropolis has been afflicted by comas, and Superman has to deal with the Eradicator. Good, bad, whether nice, get it. Good. Ed Benz jumped on as the artist of this, and I really like Ed Benz's art, although all his females look exactly the same. I think this was a better interpretation of New 52 Superman, Ed Benz, than his previous stuff. So the art was pretty good. In addition to that, I felt as though Eradicator was actually portrayed fairly well in this. Bad is everything else was kind of meh. Um, there was really no story. I think there was too many elements being thrown at us at once. I think there should have been more of a focus to it. Besides that, it was an okay issue. 3 out of 5. Aquaman, issue number 30. So it's Aquaman versus Hercules. Yeah, baby. Um, yeah, so really, Aquaman versus Hercules. And if you remember, Hercules was trapped in that dimension for such a long time, and it made him go mad, and it made him basically, I mean, he had to fight those creatures, he had to eat those creatures, so it was kind of a shitty experience for him, and Aquaman's doing the best he can to take care of Hercules, while at the same time not killing him because it's Hercules. He was tricked into this. He's a hero, and this bad shit that happened to him, it's not his fault. So he's doing the best he can to take care of Hercules. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. The story is interesting. The art is good, and I like the fact they brought Hercules in. I'm in a Hercules mood lately, especially with the Rock's movie coming out. Only bad is that the fight between Hercules and Aquaman is very short. So that's why this will get a 4.5 out of 5. Flash, issue number 30. So this is the first introduction to Wally West to the New 52. And some people will be happy, some people will be impartial, some people will be mad. Because Wally West is introduced a little differently. He is of a different ethnicity. I'm one of the people that I don't really care because I was a huge Wally West fan. So whatever he is now in the New 52, I'm happy with. It's good to have him back though. But in saying that, this issue is all about recovery, actually dealing with the fallout of Forever Evil. Flash has to run around, and he feels horrible that he wasn't around to protect the city. Because if you remember, the only two Justice League members that were around, and I'm talking Justice League, not Justice League Dark or International, the only two Justice League members that were around during Forever Evil was Batman and Cyborg. So they probably don't have that much guilt, those two, because they were actually in the fray. Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern. Well, Green Lantern's off in space, but Aquaman, all of them weren't around during Forever Evil, and Flash feels horrible about it. So he's doing the best he can to repair the city, but while it's going on, people are not happy with him. Uh, Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good. I think it's an interesting take on the return of Wally West in this comic. I really do think that Brett Booth's art is welcome here, and I would like to continue to see him on this comic. And I really do like the guilt that is plagued with Flash in this. Bad, none. This was a solid issue from start to finish. Great reintroduction to Wally West, and on a whole, pick it up. 5 out of 5. On to the last two comics and the new comics this week. First of all is Secret Origins issue number 1. So this is a comic that I think DC needed maybe 2 years ago, but could still relatively use right now. Basically, I've been a fan of the New 52 since its start. I've been very pro New 52. I think I made that very obvious on my channel. However, that's not to say that the New 52 doesn't have its own problems. Most notably of its problems is that DC kind of went in it half loaded, half cocked. What's the term? I forget. Well, anyways, they went in it with not a complete plan. They had some great ideas, but they didn't have it fully mapped out that well. And that's always kind of a tough thing when doing a continuity editing event for your company. But that's no excuse. So clearly the event wasn't as well not the event, but the New 52 wasn't as well managed as it could have been. More or less with the origin of characters and exactly where they fall in this new 5-year timeline. Now DC for the most part has fixed this up with various different retcons or reintroductions or retellings, most notably the 0 year issues, or the issue 0 comics that were released a year ago. But that's not to say that there isn't a few things or problems that are still around. Most notably, so if Batman's only been around 6 years and he had Damian, or he conceived Damian with Talia when he was Batman, and how is Damian 10 years old? Yeah, answer that question for me. But I think this is a comic that's still necessary today. Basically, what it is telling the secret origins of various different superheroes, doing 3 at a time. This time it did Superman, Robin, or Dick Grayson Robin, and Supergirl, and basically telling their origins. And you're probably asking yourself, what's the point of this? Because we already had the 0 month issues. Why do we need to do these origins? Well, for one thing, these origins are from different perspectives, and two, those are one issues to tell the origin of characters. There's nothing wrong with kind of polishing shit up. So exactly how did the first issue go, and is it really worth the $4.99 price tag? I will tell you. The first story deals with Superman, and the good thing about this story is it's from the perspective of Laura L., who is his birth mother, and Martha Kent, who is his adopted mother. And we get to see kind of him on Earth before he becomes Superman, but after the rocket is sent. And again, it's a different perspective of Superman, especially from the Kents, who haven't been around in New 52 because they got killed. So I did like the Superman story because it was from a different perspective. The Dick Grayson story was very interesting because it took a lot of the elements from the 0 issue, but it was very different. And I would be so bold to argue it was actually a better origin in this comic than it was in the 0 issue. The funny thing is, it was written by Kyle Higgins, who also wrote the 0 issue. The changes were very minor, too. The only major changes that were made was Batman was very pro Dick being Robin, and Dick kind of had a more stronger relationship with Bruce in the beginning, rather than Bruce being very disapproving of him being Robin. But besides that, I mean, I think it's a very much I think it's a better interpretation of him becoming Robin, a more lighthearted one too. Batman shouldn't be against Dick Grayson being Robin, at least at that point, because he sees a lot of himself in Robin, and he wants to help out this kid get the answers and the justice for his parents' crime. So, if anything, it does add to the Zaria issue and it polishes it. I'm gonna have to reread Nightwing issue 0 just so that I can get just compare and contrast the two. But the Robin story was definitely the highlight for me, and then the Supergirl story, which was well written, I think was unnecessary because see the difference between the Superman and Robin story as opposed to the Supergirl story is the Superman story was from a different perspective. It's not from Clark Kent's perspective. It's from his mother's perspective. So it brings a different element to his origin. The Robin story kind of polished things up and added to the Robin story, so that it was addition to that. But the Supergirl story didn't add anything or do anything from a different perspective. It was clippets of different stuff from Supergirl's origin for the past 30 issues of Supergirl. So while it wasn't handled badly, it wasn't necessarily great or necessary. On a whole, I will give this a 4 out of 5. The first two issues was the first two stories were good. The last story was Messa Messa, but I still did like this a lot, and I think it's something that you guys should pick up. And lastly, ending things off is the Justice League United issue number 0. So Justice League United is kind of a comic that I generally wanted in the DC universe for some time, but we never really truly got it. And you're probably asking, what do you mean by that? It's a Justice League comic that is not branded by anything special. Now, Justice League you have to have because it is the main comic, and then Justice League Dark is well. Let's see from the perspective of me looking at the New 52 from the beginning. You had Justice League, which was the main core 7 members. Justice League Dark, which was the Magic universe, and then you had Justice League International, which was a bunch of B-listers and Batman. B-listers at best, but in Batman. Um, and then Justice League International didn't work out because I didn't think it had the right team on there. Batman shouldn't have been on there. Martian Manhunter shouldn't have been on there. There wasn't a full commitment to it. And then Justice League of America came out, and we got a great lineup, or at least for the most part. We have 3 major secondary Justice League characters: Martian Manhunter, Hawkman, and Green Arrow, along with various different other characters that are either new to the Justice League or being reintroduced. And it was a fun comic at its start, but I don't think there was an end game to that, and it wasn't handled necessarily the best it could have been. But Justice League United is Justice League members doing their own thing, not having some silly gimmick, and at the same time, they're lesser known Justice League members as opposed to the big 7. They're kind of doing their own thing, which is cool, which is what I want. In my ideal world, again, one my perspective, there would be the main Justice League team, the 7, and then there would be a second comic showcasing the rest of the Justice League, a Justice League All Star or a Justice League, United. Granted, this Justice League team here, the Justice League United, is not connected to the normal Justice League team, but as close as we're going to get. And I'm kind of doing some rambling, and I might be confusing you guys, so I'm sorry about that. The story starts off with the Justice League team together fighting some aliens on a world that we don't know about yet, but we soon will. And then it flashes back to how the team came together. Basically, Stargirl and Animal Man are at a convention when Adam Strange shows up and asks for their help. They decide, yeah, sure, we'll go help him out. And Stargirl calls in the cavalry. She calls in some Justice League of America members to help out, but only 2 of them come, which is Martian Manhunter and Green Arrow. And there's where the chaos ensues. Yeah, sorry. So that's the basic gist of it. And the cool concept of it, and it starts off in Canada. The starting story arc is Justice League Canada is that the Zeta Beam's going to constantly be pulling them back and forth, so you get to have stories on Earth and stories in space, which is kind of cool. So on the team, you have Stargirl, original Justice League of America member Stargirl, Green Arrow, Martian Manhunter, and Hawkman was shown to be in it. He was at the end of issue 0. Animal Man's in it. Supergirl's going to be in it. And this new character here, which is Kiwatan, I believe, is going to be joining the team too. I could be wrong on the name, so please, I apologize. But she's a brand new teen Canadian superhero. I thought this, for the most part, was a good introduction to the Justice League United. It would have been nice to see more of the team in there, like Supergirl show up. But for the most part, I'm enjoying this comic. I'm enjoying the writing, and I'm enjoying overall the concept. So, 4 out of 5. Moving on to my picks of the week. I'm going to actually have to just go through this real quick to just pull them out. But I am going to go with the following. Coming in at number 3 is Secret Origins. DC Secret Origins. Like I said, this is a good comic to kind of retell origin stories for superheroes and resituate them in New 52 and kind of fill in those gaps and holes that we have. Issue number 30 of Justice League Dark, it comes in at number 2. Like, again, it's good table resetter, and in addition to that, it just did everything right that the comic needed to do. It makes you want more, more, more. And last is Batman Eternal issue number 3. Stephanie Brown's back and better than ever, and the story of Gotham getting crumbled by the Falcones is getting more and more interesting. So, definitely must gets. Moving on. So, we have our Andrewcutter Battle Royale that is going to be happening. Now, this was kind of a tough battle royale for me to choose because I was going to take one of your suggestions out there, but I want to do something a little different. In the anticipation for the new Hercules movie that's coming out with The Rock, because I I, I love The Rock. He's one of my favorite actors, and I think he's a complete badass, and I really am looking forward to him playing Hercules. I figured, why not do a battle royale pitting Hercules against another mythic character or character of, how should I say, fantasy or fiction. Fiction, probably better to say fiction. So, what character to have go up against Hercules? You can have gods, you can have mighty heroes and warriors. You can do a lot of different ones. However, why not pit him against someone that is equally his stature and heroes, being a heroic figure? So this Andrewcutter Battle Royale is going to be a little different and it's going to be a little fun. It's going to be the Legend of Hercules versus the Legend of King Arthur. Yeah, pretty badass. So we might as well start things off. We'll start things off with Hercules. Hercules has been depicted in many different ways throughout mythology in Greek mythology. Um, but a lot of things are held true about Hercules. First and foremost is Hercules is considered a demigod, although some depictions in Greek mythology pictures him a god trapped in a mortal body and all that fun stuff. But he is a demigod, and most importantly of his demigod powers is his great strength. Hercules is able to do incredible feats with his strengths, wrestle incredible monsters, and topple mountains with his strength. He is considered one of the strongest fictional heroes of all time. Plain, flat, and simple. Hercules is also an incredible thinker. He takes every situation and he never panics. He always goes into it calm and collective and is able to kind of discern the best way to tackle a monster. Like when fighting the Hydra. He, cut off a head, 2 more grows back. Let's just cauterize that head there. We'll go from there. Hercules is also a great fighter. He is best known for his brawling like tactic. He wields various different weapons to his advantage. Most notably, Hercules has basically, let's say, 4 weapons to his arsenal. He has the Nebian lion cloak that he wears, which basically is an impervious cloak that protects him. No arrow can pierce it, although it makes you wonder how he was able to skin it. But hey, it's Hercules, he can do it. In addition to that, he usually carries a massive club with him. His great strength allows him to swing this club and deal immense amount of damage. He also has a bow and arrow that he brings with him everywhere, and the arrows that he carries has the poisonous blood of the Hydra on it. One quick hit from that, you're dead. And lastly, Hercules tends, at least in most of his 12 labors, carries a sword with him, so he does have sword for combat. Hercules' greatest strength is his strength. He is a man's man. He goes in there and just absolutely pounds the shit out of things. And eventually he does become a full-fledged god, the god of strength, heroes, masculinity, games, and all that fun stuff. Again, there's various different interpretations to the Hercules myth, but we're going to go with the most ripe interpretation, the most well-known, and that is the Greek interpretation. Sorry, no Disney or Kevin Sorbo here, although I did watch the Kevin Sorbo Hercules, and the Disney Hercules is my favorite film, but anyways, Hercules' greatest weapon is Hercules is a man of great emotion and great rage at times. Although he can go into a situation and calmly discern things and not get frightened and not get scared, he is of great passion. He can easily be tempered. And that could prove fatal for Hercules. And two is, although he is a strong, massive hero, most of his victories in combat is due to his brute strength. He's skilled, but he's not necessarily the most skilled. He's not like Achilles or Perseus, where he has skill by his side. He relies heavily on his demigod powers and his, well, actually, excellent weapons at his disposal. Going up against him is King Arthur. King Arthur is another guy that I loved when I was a kid and still do today. Arthurian lore is great. And there's been many different interpretations to King Arthur. So I'm going to try to compile them all together into what is King Arthur. King Arthur is basically the most greatest of all the English kings. And what he brings to the table is superior skill in combat as to Hercules. King Arthur has had years of swordplay under his belt. He is an excellent sword fighter, and this is very important. And keep this in mind: the reason why he's an excellent sword fighter and why it's important against Hercules is because he wields the mighty sword Excalibur, quite possibly the most famous blade of all time. Quite possibly one of the only swords that is better than the Master Sword. That's no easy thing to do. Sword Excalibur is, as long as you're, as a wielder, is true to this Sword Excalibur, it can never be broken, and it can never dull or never rust. Although Excalibur has broken at times in different kind of mythologies or different kind of interpretation stories, it's often because the wielder had lost faith in themselves. But the sword Excalibur is said to be able to cut and pierce through anything, defeat any foe if used against them. It is the ultimate weapon. It has magical qualities and manipulation of various different magical things. It can dispel magic and disenchant things if necessary. So the sword Excalibur has so many different qualities to it. Typically, King Arthur wields with him the sword Excalibur, a standard long steel shield, and chainmail, which allows him flexibility and maneuverability. King Arthur's greatest asset against Hercules is, again, his skill. Not only is he a skilled swords fighter, but he is also skilled with various different other weapons, from maces to longbows to crossbows to spears. And most of the time, he keeps these all on him. King Arthur is also a brilliant tactician, and much like Hercules, he goes into most fights calm and be able to discern his opponent's weaknesses. However, his greatest weakness in this fight is the fact that he does not have godlike abilities. He is not a demigod. He has a lot of magical things at his disposal, but he does not have the power of a god. So, who would win into this fight? This is tough as all hell because if you think about it, although technically skill wise, Hercules isn't quite up to standards to King Arthur, he definitely has the strength advantage. The Nebian Lion Cloak gives him invulnerability. One shot of those arrows can take King Arthur down. It would be extremely dangerous of the fight. However, here's the thing: King Arthur has a sword Excalibur, which not only is impervious, not only is indestructible and continuously sharp and never dulls, but it has the ability to cut through almost anything. It has the ability to disenchant stuff too. So the sword Excalibur not only could possibly cut through the Nebian lion cloak, but it would also possibly have the ability to disenchant the cloak too, which is Hercules' greatest defense. In saying that, going into this fight, I was going to give it to King Arthur because he has the sword Excalibur at his disposal, the shield if he necessary to block against the arrows, and he's smart enough that he can keep Hercules at bay. But I'm going to give this win a 55% win to Hercules. And the reason why I give it to Hercules is although King Arthur has the better weapon at disposal with Excalibur, Hercules has more at his disposal. Hercules has a better range weapon, even if King Arthur had bows and crossbows. Hercules has that poison arrow tip, and Hercules is often considered a legendary archer. He has his range close in melee with his club, and Greek swords tend to be a little bit shorter, so in close combat he can use the sword too. The Nebian lion, well, will protect him against Excalibur. All he won't protect him against Excalibur. It will protect him against about everything else. So all he has to do is keep his distance. The only way King Arthur would actually win in this fight is if he was able to get Hercules in close enough to use Excalibur. But at a distance, Hercules is actually more dangerous. The one thing that doesn't play into this fight too much is actually Hercules' strength. Well, if Hercules actually wrestled King Arthur or fought him in hand-to-hand combat, the blows would be devastating. It's actually the poison arrow tip from Hercules that gives him the advantage. Distance-wise, he's got it. And those arrow tips are going to go through that chainmail. I'm sorry it's going to happen, especially if Hercules is pulling that arrow back. It doesn't matter what armor you're going to wear. That arrow is going through that armor. So the winner is Hercules. If you have a suggestion for the Andrewcutter Battle Royale, by all means post it down below. I glad take suggestions, and 90% of the time I take your suggestions. Sometimes like this I do one on my own. So that's the Andrewcutter Battle Royale, and oh my god, this is itchy eyes. Oh. As for video game stuff updates, nothing really new other than GameStop was doing, or it's still doing a promotion, where it's buy 2 games, get both games 20% off, buy 4 games, get all 4 games 40% off, and buy 6 games, I mean 30% off, buy 6 games, get them 40% off. So I figured I'm pretty much caught up in my backlog of games, might as well get some new games. So I got Mario All Star Racers Transform for the Wii U. I got Tomb Raider for the Xbox 360. Dead Space 3 for the Xbox 360, and Fable's Anniversary for the Xbox 360. I'm playing through Tomb Raider right now, and I'm actually pretty far in the game, so I kind of want to know where I am. I feel as though I'm towards the end. So I'm probably going to play that after I'm done with the gym today. And I got Dead Space 3 because I love Dead Space 1 and 2, and Dead Space for the Wii, which was Dead Space Extraction, was it? Was a fun game too. And then I got Fable Anniversary because it's the only Fable I haven't played. I played Fable 1 and 2. I haven't played the original, which is interesting. So, and Mario All Star Racers Transform is going to be something to hold me over till not Mario, Sonic All Star Racers Transform is going to be something that holds me over till Mario Kart 8 comes out. In addition to that, it's very similar to Donkey Kong. Or Diddy Kong Racing, so I'm told. So, and I mean, Diddy Kong Racing was pretty much a shit. So, I am going to be looking forward to playing that game with my friends, and that's going to be a game that I'll play with them most of the time. But yeah, Tomb Raider I've been playing, and it's been a relatively fun game. And I'm not a big Tomb Raider fan. I've never played or completed I never played the games to completion. I played the games, but I never completed them. I've never been a big fan of Lara Croft, but the new interpretation is actually pretty darn good. So, but that's neither here nor there. Other than that, updates. I got promoted at work, so I don't know how that's going to affect my comic reviews because I have to drive a bit further out. So I don't know if I actually make it home in time to to what is it called, to get my comics. I might get them on Saturday, so I may not get my videos out on time always, but I will do the best I can. But hey, more pay. Can't complain. I got my first commission paycheck. I get paid base and then base plus commission. The commission paycheck is fantastic this month, so it's good. Things are looking good, and I'm happy I got promoted. So, which is only more of a stepping stone to the next promotion. So, sounds good. Being a manager rocks. With that said, I'm going to jump right into the questions and answers. Starting things off is Soul Drum 86. Hey Andrew, do you think they'll ever make a Teen Titans live action TV show? Actually, they're in the works of making a Young Justice live action TV show, or so I've been told. So I think the possibility is very high. Um, exactly what interpretation of the Teen Titans or the Young Justice will be is debatable, but I think it's very much possible. Evil Mastermind, if the new Justice League formed out of heroes that have not appeared in New 52 yet, who would you put on the team? How would you have them form, and what would you have them station? That's kind of a tough question to answer because the majority of heroes have reformed, have majority of people that we've been waiting for in the New 52 have showed up. The people that are still missing are like Donna Troy or Cassandra Cain, but you're not going to put Cassandra Cain on a Justice League team. Or even Ralph Debby. I mean, yeah, he hasn't showed up again, but I don't think there's enough people to make a Justice League team of the New 52 that are missing that can logically be Justice League. Again, Cassandra Cain is missing, but would you really put her on the Justice League? She's not really Justice League material. Teen Titan, possibly. Outsiders, definitely. Justice League, I don't know. So that I can't answer that question because I, off the top of my head, or even given time, can't think of people that have yet to appear in the New 52 that should be on the Justice League team. Nick Lenz, hey Andrew, first question, and hold on, let me maximize this. Oh, by the way, I forgot to pick up Daredevil issue number 2 this week. My bad. Hey Andrew, first questions. There has been at least 5 different versions of the Unknown Soldier, World War II, 80s, 90s, Verticals, and New 52. Thank you for that clarification. Now, the question first. Have you thought of taking a look at trade paperback collection of previous volumes of Daredevil by Mark Waid and Wolverine and the X-Men by Jason Aaron? There are 7 Daredevil books and 8 Wolverine and the X-Men books, plus X-Men Battle for the Atom. I probably won't just due to money. Trades are expensive, and I don't care enough to do it. While I do enjoy Daredevil and I do enjoy Wolverine, and I'm going to give Wolverine and the X-Men maybe a couple more issues, I'm not overwhelmingly compelled to pick up the trades, especially with money being tight. Second, would you like me to suggest which X-Men book that you get? You don't have to. I'm not a huge X-Men fan. I just, again, dipping in the water, putting the foot in the water to test the water and see how it is. So we'll see where it goes there. Third, have you ever thought of doing a walkthrough of any of the games you own for the Wii, Wii U, or Xbox 360? Yes, I have. The problem is I don't have a capturing device, and two, I don't want to go up against the copyright infringement laws that could happen on YouTube. Maybe if I make a second channel, but again, I don't know. It would be fun, but again, I don't know. Maybe. Um, Fourth, why not do a current pre-New 52 Batman timeline so some people might stop asking you? Because my last timeline video pretty much covered the pre-New 52. Everyone wants the New 52 stuff. That's the thing. Another thing is that I don't have my trades with me right now. They're all at my mother's house. So that's another reason why I haven't really done a timeline video. But again, my last timeline video was maybe missing 2 or 3 trades. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm getting a new bookshelf. My mom asked me, "What would you like for your birthday?" And the thing about me is that I don't do gifts well because most of the stuff I get, I just buy. I don't need anything else. But I said, you know what? I could use another bookshelf because I can put stuff in it. And you know what? Might put my trades in it. We'll see. Akuna Makota Z. Andrew, would we be able to do an online battle with you on Smash? Absolutely. When Smash comes out, the new Smash, and I play a bit, so I figure out what character I'm going to play. We can do definitely. I can give you friend codes or whatever it is that you guys need to find me. Also, have you read anything from the weekly the have you also have you read anything from the weekly series New 52? Yes, I've not New 52, 52. Yes, I read 52. It was fantastic. Pick it up. I was looking for new books to get, and I was wondering if you had read it and your thoughts on it. Actually, I reviewed 52. It's amazing. Pick up 52. Pick up all four volumes and enjoy it. Enjoy it. Green Arrow Hunter. Hey Andrew, which Justice League story would you like to see adapted into an animated movie? And Battle Royale, Unicorn versus Anti-Modern. That's pretty interesting. Which Justice League story would I like to be adapted into a movie? Well, a lot of the good Justice League stories have already been adapted. Rock of Ages wouldn't be bad. If you guys know the Rock of Ages story. Villain's Quest wouldn't be bad, or the Villain's Journey wouldn't be bad, but I would say, and I think it is getting adapted, would be the Rise of Atlantis or the War of Atlantis. I forget what it's called. When basically it's the Justice League and Aquaman versus Atlantis. That would have been a cool story to see adapted. I think they're doing that with Aquaman. Lone Wolf, Andrew, do you play Metal Gear Solid? If so, what do you think of the series? Happy birthday, man. Thank you very much. I own Metal Gear Solid 1, and I have the HD collection, which is 2, 3, and Peace Waker. However, I've only played Metal Gear Solid 1, which is Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, the GameCube version. I do plan on playing the other Metal Gears, but I just needed to kind of get enough energy to do so, because they take a lot out of you. So far from the series that I played, I enjoy it. It is a little over the top and cheesy at times, but I think that's half the charm to it. So I am interested to play the rest of it. Again, I want to go through Tomb Raider and probably Fable's Anniversary before I touch the other games. Blue Lantern 2814. I'm confused. Why would they cancel Teen Titans and Suicide Squad to relaunch them a couple months later? To get money, basically. Issue number one sell a lot, plus also to wipe the slate clear, for lack of a better term. But that's why they would do it. But that's the questions for this week. If you have a question, by all means, post it down below. I'll be happy to answer them. And I got all my comics at Comically Speaking in Reading, Mass. So if you want to go and get some comics, if you want to find something, they have everything there. Go there. You will not be disappointed. With that said, this is Andrew saying peace out for now.